Okay, so again, if you're not entirely familiar with my review style and these kind of overly geeky things like Phineas and Ferb, I'm going to give my overall thoughts on the film at the beginning part here, then there's going to be a big spoiler section, and then I'll wrap the video up. Okay, so there'll be breakpoints in between so you know when to skip if you don't want the spoilers. Alright, okay, so I'm going to be giving Phineas and Ferb the movie Candace Against the Universe an A. I think this helps pick up right where Phineas and Ferb left off at, whether you think it's Phineas and Ferb the series proper, the Alka Files, or any of the other movies, or the episode of Milo Murphy's Law that they were in. Still, I mean, whether it's any of those, I think it's like they picked it up and still can hit all the notes just right. If I do have any qualms, I'll get to a couple of them in the spoiler section, but I will say this. The movie is maybe a little too padded out at the end. There are two big musical numbers in the climax, and it's like that had to pad it out to 80 minutes. So yeah, it's like, oh yeah, this is getting a little redundant. But other than that, this is still really enjoyable, really fun. If you love Phineas and Ferb like I do, you're definitely going to enjoy it. That's why I'm giving it an A.
Aren't you boys a little young to be restoring a national monument?
Yes, we are.
Aren't you kids a little young to be discovering Atlantis?
Yes, we are.
Aren't you a little young to be a roller coaster engineer?
Yes, I am.
Tomatoes, cucumbers, and lots of green pepper.
Are you even old enough to be creating your own sandwich?
Yes, I am.
At Subway, you can always create your own super delish sandwich just the way you like, because you got it made. So build something totally awesome, just like Disney's Phineas and Ferb. Subway, eat fresh.
Okay, so this is the spoiler section. You've been warned a couple of times now, so from here on out, spoilers. If you don't want it, just skip to the next commercial bit, okay? Okay. Alright, so in Phineas and Ferb, Candace Against the Universe, I'll just call it that from now on. Candace is, failed once more to Buster Brothers, this time for building a giant juggling robot clown, which gets destroyed by Dr. Doofenshmirtz's, Dr. Doofenshmirtz's super vacuuminator. And again, this is kind of at the tipping point. She just doesn't understand, like, why does this keep happening? Why, it feels like the whole universe just conspires against me. All I'm trying to do is get my brothers in trouble. And of all people, Vanessa Doofenshmirtz arrives and talks to Candace and sort of tries to get her to realize that a lot of what she's doing is projecting her own inferiority complex onto her brothers. Basically, because her brothers are obviously, Phineas and Ferb are so smart and intelligent, can do all these things, she's sort of, not so much jealous of them, but it makes her feel less unique and special. And so she's trying to prove her own worth by, again, catching them in the act of what they're doing. And then as this happens, she and Vanessa wind up getting abducted by aliens from the planet, let's see, I have it right here, I think. Fiblaut, in the Vorplik constellation. And Perry the Platypus witnesses this, and also Phineas and Ferb catch it just as the ship's taking off. And so they need to recruit Baljeet to try to, and they managed to piece together like where the ship is headed. So they need to get Baljeet to rebuild his portal from the episode where they went to Mars. Unfortunately, it's not powerful enough, and then also Dr. Doofenshmirtz, because he's realized that Vanessa, thanks to some social media posting, was grabbed, also built a portal, and their portals kind of clash with each other, and as a result, they all get transported to Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated, where they have to take off in Doofenshmirtz's super galactic travelator, or spaceship. So it's obviously it's the Phineas and Ferb gang. It's Baljeet, Buford, and Isabella. And Perry is stowing away on board because he can't be discovered by his host family, but he actually has to help Doofenshmirtz and them get to the planet. And as this is happening, Vanessa and Candace are staging their own attempt at escape. Vanessa gets into escape pod. Candace starts to, but goofs up a couple of times and launches all of the escape pods, which then travel to the home planet anyway. So Vanessa gets stranded there. But it turns out that Candace was actually desired because she is the chosen one. And here she actually is special, and she winds up bonding with the leader of the planet, who I cannot remember what her name is. But of course, there's actually a humorous point in this, where it turns out the name Candace is the sound that the beings on the planet make when their torsos explode. So when some of them gets excited, like, oh my goodness, this is really happening, poof, and then instead of poof, it's Candace! Candace! Still though, Candace is, pampered, she's treated like a queen, and then the others arrive, but it's discovered that really it's because it turns out all humans are needed to provide carbon dioxide to this plant that produces these mind control spores that will allow the queen to take over the universe, because this queen has in fact been projecting her own inferiority complex with her brother's prodigious nature. In other words, the queen is just like Candace. And then it becomes this race to try to get back to the planet Earth. Dr. Doofenshmirtz brought most of his innators with him, including the chicken replacenator, which allows beings to be switched with the nearest chicken in the area. Unfortunately, he winds up using it earlier, and when he tries to use it again to get everyone back to Earth, it only switches with the chicken that's already on the planet. So he had to remind, oh, that's right, I have the farthest chicken setting as well, to get him, Vanessa, and Perry back to Earth, as well as Vanessa's new pet, Space Dragon. As I digress there. And again, it's all about, in this case, Phineas and Ferb need to prove to Candace that, she's every bit as important to their adventures. And I think that it is a unique, I always thought it was really unique in Phineas and Ferb that their relationship with Candace was never, wholly antagonistic. Yeah, she's obviously out to bust her brothers, but it was never seemingly out of spite or hatred. They never really pulled pranks on her, or they weren't brats to her at all. They generally seem to always be coming from, the best place. They're just trying to, make the time pass by on a summer day, while, Candace is, it seems, genuinely concerned about her brother's safety in a lot of these acts, because, well, let's face it, doing things like building a roller coaster or fighting a mummy or climbing up the Eiffel Tower is not exactly safe. So there was always I always thought that was a unique dichotomy in there. It was antagonistic, but it wasn't spiteful or mean-spirited or hated. And I think this special did a really good job of that. If I do have other qualms, other than, like I said, the bit about the padding being a little too far out, it has to do with a little certain really kind of nitpicky stuff. For example, Candace's boyfriend Jeremy and best friend Stacy are barely in this movie at all. Stacy appears a little bit at the beginning, and then Jeremy appears kind of at the climax and then at the end as well, where it's revealed that he's actually a LARPer. But yeah, that's kind of all that they do, and it's those characters are almost every bit as important to Candace as Phineas and Ferb are. You think they would have maybe come along on this journey too at some point. They probably should have played a bigger role than they did. And the other one, and this is really, really nitpicky here, Alison Stoner as Isabella. I love Alison Stoner. She was always great in that role, but I think she's getting a little too old to be trying to pull off the Isabella Garcia Shapiro voice. She can't do the what you doing? It doesn't quite work anymore. Yeah, I don't want to say her age is beginning to show, because Alison Stoner's only 27, so. But yeah, it's she's starting to sound more like a teenager and less like the little, I hesitate to say little girl again, but remember, Phineas and Ferb were supposed to be 11 or 12, and Isabella is kind of in that age range as well, obviously, and she doesn't sound like that anymore. She's sounding more and more like an adult, if that makes more sense. So yeah, like I said, that's really, really nitpicky. I actually like Isabella's arc in this too. Again, she has two sword clashes. One with Buford, because Buford brought along this canoe, which he's certain they're going to need at some point. And also because Doofenshmirtz brought all his innators, and he's trying to kind of control things, because yeah, look, I'm the only one here who's over 18. I'm the only adult who's responsible for all you kids. So I probably should have a little bit more say as to what's going on. But she points out that, he's an idiot and keeps blundering his way through things. In fact, every time he tries to take charge, he winds up falling into like a chasm. So, yeah, so that's sort of their point. But at the end, they both realize that they each contribute their own unique things. So, again, it's a nice arc in there as well. So, yeah, like I said, that was really about the only major problem I have is, again, the padding. I think there was, like I said, the climactic sequence, which involves Candace using a t-shirt gun to give gifts to everyone, the aliens, which makes them, their torsos explode. So, you know, she's shooting all these t-shirts and t-shirt guns, and it's like, Candace, Candace, Candace. You know, it's like, why does everyone keep saying her name? And as that, so, yeah, and eventually this plant kind of turns into this giant monster, but then Candace actually uses Doofenshmirtz's chicken replacinator to switch it back with the home planet, which has been taken over by the coward aliens that used to live underground. And once it's transferred to that planet, because this plant needed carbon dioxide to regrow its spores, and on the planet the beings only expel oxygen, it immediately dies. So that's what happens there. But then, like I said, right after that happens, we get a big musical number, and then Candace avoids busting her brothers for once, and then we get another big musical number, and then we get a musical number during the credits, and then we get a mid-credit sequence where Phineas and Ferb's father inadvertently wanders into the or Ferb's father, I should probably say for a better reference, but inadvertently wanders into Baljeet's portal and into the burning remains of the Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated building, because, yeah, when the spaceship took off, it destroyed the building, and so he's like, yeah, and he walks back out, and then the portal explodes, and it's like, yeah, and that's when Linda arrives, and she said, what happened? He's like, I don't know. And so it's sort of like, oh, is, you know, Mr. Fletcher now going to start trying to bust Phineas and Ferb? Or maybe not. Because this is kind of weird, is where exactly this takes place in the summer timeline of Phineas and Ferb. Because, yeah, the entire 10-year run of the series took place over one summer. But there's no major minor. There's no, there was Vanessa's boyfriend who worked for Alka. It was the son of Major Monogram, or Minor Monogram, that's what I'm thinking, yeah. And becomes Vanessa's boyfriend for a while. There's nothing about the further Vanessa-Ferb relationship, which, of course, they reveal happens in a future flash forward episode. Or, you know, again, like, Stacy knowing that Perry was an agent for Alka, which is, yeah, not supposed to be a thing, but still, as all of that, none of that is brought up, so I don't know exactly where this is supposed to fit in, but still, like I said, this is really enjoyable, and that's why I gave it an A.
Do it. Yeah. Go. Baby, it's happening.
Phineas and Kick unleash an extreme, busting back to back on Disney XD.
Yeah.
Kick Patowski's conquering speed, sweet riding skills
To the extreme.
Phineas and Ferb's got epic gadgetry, backyard in the bay, maxing out machines.
Whoa.
Phineas and Kick unleashing extreme, busting back to back a Disney XD.
Cool. Yes.
Catch Phineas and Ferb and Kick Patowski back to back. Weekday mornings at 8, 7 Central on Disney XD.
Okay, so the next video is going to be the recap and review for Payback, the WWE show this weekend. The next movie, or TV show review in this case, will be the rest of Muppets Now Season 1. I don't know what exactly I'm going to do after that. There's another review I am working on. I'll probably try to get that out in the next couple weeks or so. I'm also going to be working on, obviously, the random trade review on episode 150, which is the Mask Omnibus Volume 1. See you all next time. Hey guys, remember, you can help support my channel at patreon.com/SleepyTimeForCat Productions, where you can help request a movie, even if it's something like, say, Sonic the Hedgehog or the next Purge film. I'll review it.